Yeah, in this video we're talking about CSS footer. Okay, so inside this CSS footer, let me add more screen to my HTML screen. Okay, so create a basic HTML structure. Then inside our body elements, we we add header, say header. Okay, like that. Okay, then the next one we add main, just like that. Let me do it well, just like that. Then after that, we now add footer, then push it down, then come up, then let me find so it will be inside. Then next now do I will now create a main div. This is our main div. Okay, so inside this div now, let me just call it since we are doing with footer, so let me call it main footer. Main, supposed to give it is a class name, sorry. So we can call it a main footer. I want to use underscore footer. Okay, okay. Then this thing will be our main our main div. So let me close this white space here, so that will be so it will be, the code will be well organized. Okay, how about here? I think it's better now. Now the next thing I will do, I will just create another div. Inside this div now, I'll give it I will put some data inside. Let me just give it a data name. Let me just say something like okay, let me just do it in some sort of a template. Okay, so the user can actually edit and put what they want. Let me do it. Let me say something like uh, let me say write your brand name. Let me say something. Write your brand name. The brand name here. Okay, let me refresh. So it's okay. Write your brand. I think that one is very okay. Now having done this, the next thing I will do, I'll create another div. From here I will now create I think this div is supposed to be in the same line, not, yeah, supposed to be in the same line. Okay, so I will now say div, and I'll use lowercase. I'll say div, another div. Inside this div now I will now create, I really need to clean all this white space. I don't need them, so that it will not cause a little bit okay, I think it's well organized now. Okay, so inside this my main div now, I will now add I'll use or should I even use, let me light some text because I want it to display some text in the footer. Okay, let me say inside this place now, inside this div now, let me click enter. Let me add a paragraph inside. Let me use header. This paragraph, let me use the header 1. Let me use h2. H2 will be a little bit bolder. Header 2, let me say Lauren, just a random 20 words. I think is okay for me. Okay, you can see that. I think seem to be too much. It seems to be too big. Let me change the tag. Let me change it to paragraph. I think it will be more better for, because this thing, so there'll be different between this one and this one. Okay, haven't done that. So the next thing I will now do, next I will now do is now to create a not user unordered list. Okay, inside this unordered list I will now create my list. Okay, let me close this spacing here. I don't need this spacing, so it will not look bogus. Okay, so inside this unordered list I will now create a list. Suppose from here I click enter, and then I will now say list I. Then inside this I will now add my a tag, which is href. Okay, then I'll put the destination to hash. Okay, let me write some random. Let me just write something else. Let me just say let me just use home. Let me use the block letter. Let me say home. Okay, then what next? Now I don't think that. Let me just duplicate it. Let me just duplicate this list. From here, just duplicate it, shift alt down. Let me make it only, let's say 4 will be okay. 4 will be okay. Inside this one now, let me make this one let me make it about us. I think it will make sense, about us. Then inside this one, let me make this place let me say something like page. Let me say pages. Inside this place, let me make this place what should I use now if somebody visits a website? How about let me say, should I use customer care? Should I use private should I use, okay, let me use contact because most websites have contacts. Let me just say something like contacts. Contacts. Okay, now having done this now, am I missing any other thing again? I've added the class name for this my div. Then next thing I will need to do, I need to add I think I'm done with this my main div. Okay, so the next, let me close this white space here. I don't like all this white space, so that the code will be well compacted and well organized. Okay, list, this is a list, this is another, well organized, perfect. Then next thing I will now do, I will now create and before the footer another div. This div is separate, is on its own. It will be the one that will contain our copyright. So inside this one now, I will write a copyright. So remember the video. If you don't know how to create a copyright, you can watch my video on um, um, what's this name, HTML copyright. Okay, you can watch my HTML copyright. You understand how we do it and many other things like that. Okay, so to do that, use modules. This sign is called modules. Just type copy, modules copy, then put your semicolon. The symbol will appear. You can see the symbol here. It will appear. So after the symbol, I will now write copyright. Let me use lower uppercase for the beginning. Then let me say copyright. Uh, mm, Copyright. Should I use? How they usually write this thing? Let me say, since you're making it template like form, because we'll say write brand name here, so we'll say, let me just say somewhere here copyright, let me say your copyright here, or say copyright here to make sense. Copyright here, let me use block letter to write here. Okay, so the user can edit this thing and then put their copyright whatever. Okay, so having done this now, I'll give this copyright, I'll give this the div containing the copyright a class. Let me give it a class name of let me use a lowercase, say class name of let me use copyright. I think it will make sense since it's about copyright. Let me use copyright GHT. Okay, I think it's done. Copyright. Okay, now we have done with all our HTML for footer. Then we have to link our external CSS file so we can work on our CSS. So to do that, link it. So if you don't know how to link a CSS external file, just watch my video on CSS insert. You understand it very much better. So I will reduce the HTML screen so I have enough space in my CSS side. So the first thing I will do, I will give my the whole of my, what's it called, I'll give the whole of my element the same a uniform property. The property I'll give, the property and value I'll give to it is a box sizing value, box sizing property, and then the value of box border box. Okay, so I will do that to give all the elements the same value or the same property. You use asterisk. Inside the asterisk, you will now give your property and value. Okay, let me say I want to give all the property. So anything you put here will affect everything in your content. So that's how it works. If you say something like a color now, you say something like color now and then say something like red, it will affect everything inside. You can see, so you are giving the whole element inside of this thing the same properties of that, but that's not what we want to do, just for illustration purpose. So let me say box sizing, then give it a value of border box. I don't want this. Then okay, then the next thing I'll do, I'll give HTML, and then the body, I'll give two of them a property and value, so it will not interfere for anything at all, for any reason soever, because sometimes the browser you know might just add its own default property, and it might interfere with the code that you have written. So let me just give it a default, so it will be there. Let me give it a margin of 0. Then let me give it a padding of 0, so it will be a default. Okay, then next thing, what am I going to do again? Because is there anything that is lacking inside this my what next should I do now? I think I should declare body flex here, body, and give it a flex and other things. Okay, let me do that. Say let me also declare body, and then open declaration and declaration block, then give and then display flex. Display flex. Here is the flex. Okay, most of this effect you will not see it until we get to some point. Okay, until we get to some point, that's when you see the effect of the footer. Okay, then let me give it this mean, how do you say mean what again, mean on mean hyphen, that should be mean hyphen height. Okay, here is it. Let me give it 100 view height. I think view height is VH. Okay, then the next thing I will do, I will just give a flex direction, flex direction. Here is it. Then let me give it a colon. Okay, then you will not most of the thing you are doing, you will not see it now until we go there's a point that we reach it will start showing first. So what we are doing is things that we kind of modify something is when they Ah, just keep following, okay? Keep following. I will explain later, okay? So let me say main. Inside this main element, we will use a flex. I will say flex. We'll give it. If you don't understand flex, you can go and watch my CSS3 flex box. You understand how flex works, okay? So I will not say one. Give space and give 0. Then make it an auto, so it will not give the other thing this thing. Then the next I will now use, I will now enter the footer. Now enter footer. Inside the footer, I'm going to open a declaration block. Inside this declaration block, let me bring this aside. I have more space here. You can see now, once we put this main flex, you can see it drops down. You can see it drops down. Okay, so this is the only this is the first change. More changes are coming. So inside the footer, let me give it a color. Let me give it a color of let me just use, should I use all this hexadecimal stuff? Don't know. Let me use white for now, or let me use hexadecimal. Then watch my CSS color. You understand how what this what's it called? This FF does. Okay. This color now is almost same as white. Okay. It's same as white. Okay. So now I will now give it a background color. Let me say I'm supposed to put hyphen here. I mean semicolon here. Then I will now give background. I will say, let me give it a background color of let me know about how about 333. What's, I think that 33 is something like gray or something like that. Light, yeah, light gray. I think so. I can say, so I can edit it and say light. I can say light gray. Where is it? Light gray. I think it's still the same thing. This one is a little bit light. I think that one should be dark gray or just normal gray. Just type normal gray and see what the difference are. Don't really think so, but this one still makes sense in a way. But let's just use that one. I think that one is a little bit dark. We can still modify when we finish everything. So you see the footer, then we can do few modification, and then I will explain one or two. Okay. So the next thing I will now do, I will now use a position of relative. I will now say position. Position relative. Here is relative. Okay. Then the next thing I will now do, I will now add font size. Font size. Let me give it. I think giving it. Let me say 80%. What will it look like? Or should I make it 75%? Say 75%. Not this symbol. 75 percentage. Okay. How does this thing look now? Does it really look nice? No, this thing is not supposed to be FF. Supposed to be 33. Yeah. Okay. Okay, font size is too small. Let me make it how about 100%? What does it look like? It looks a little bit bolder. Okay, now I think I'm done with this photo. Then the next thing I will be doing is to add some property to the copyright. So we'll call the copyright with the we call the copyright class by saying dot copyright. Copyright, I think the spelling is correct. GHT, yeah, that's copyright. Then we open our declaration block. Then inside this our decoration, let me bring this my scroll bar down so there are more space. Inside this place now, I will now give it a width. Okay, I will say width. There is no spelling of width. This width. Let me give it 100%. 100% width. Okay, then the next thing I will do, 100% we're supposed to spread across the screen. Yeah, that's what it does. Okay, so if I remove it now, let me say if I not put this 100% here and then widen the screen width, okay, still though it still goes, but this is for the copyright. This is for the copyright. Okay, this is for the copyright. Let me give it 100% so it will match up with the first one. Okay, because the footer itself have its own font, not fonts. I think width. That should be okay. Let me just keep going. I think suppose the footer itself have already taken the bottom, and this is just for the copyright to also match up with the footer. Okay, then let me reduce this I think so it will match. Okay, so the next thing I'll be doing, I'll be adding height. Let me give it a height of 40 pixels, 40 px. Okay, so I will add a background. Let me say background background color. This background color, and let me just give it hexadecimal 111. What does this, what would it call it? Just like black, almost close to black, or something. It's something as black. You can just remove it and just put black there. Still the same thing. Still black. Black is black. Okay, then the next thing I'll be adding, I'm adding padding. Let me give it a padding. I think 10 pixel padding will be okay for this. I'll say 10 pixel. Put our semicolon. Okay, so it will, okay, yeah, so the text we position in the center. Okay, then I will now say position. I'll use absolute positioning. I'll say position. I'll remove this relative and replace it with absolute. Absolute. I think it's absolute. Yeah, I think I'm correct in that spelling. Then the next thing I will do, I will add the bottom and the left. Okay, this bottom and left, I want to see it. Let me scroll down. Yeah, so I'll add bottom and left. Say bottom, no, here, enter. Say bottom, just only bottom. Give it a 0 pixel. Then I'll give it, also give left the same property. I'll say left, enter, 0 pixels, 0 pixel. Okay, so the next thing I will do, I will also go to the main so that I will give it I'll give it a font size of 150 pixel. Okay, not actually main, but main, the main, this main now, where this my main, the main is my what I'm trying to say is that I will give this my class. This my class is the which have the name of, where is that my class? Let's scroll down. Let me add, expand this. My class name for the main footer, okay, is main footer. Okay, so we are entering, I will be giving it some properties. So we are done with the copyrights. Okay, for now you can see the effect, you can see the copyright on the back, on the bottom. Let's widen this. You can see the copyright on the bottom with this effect. Okay, now let's go back to this our CSS. Let me close, clean this white space. So coming down, I will now call that my class, which is dot main underscore footer. That's the name I give to the class, the div that contains all the whole contents. So I will now open the div. I will now open the declaration block. Okay, but before I do that, okay, let me do this one first before I go to that one. So then I will now give it a margin. I'll give it a margin of let me say first of all, it's supposed to be margin button, so there will be more space from that button. So margin button, okay, I will give it a, let me say 40 pixels. Okay, let me reduce this. Then the next line, I will also give it a padding of 30 pixels. Padding, okay, oh no, double D, triple D, very wrong. Then I'll give it a padding of 30 pixels. Okay, put semicolon. So this is the property I'm giving to the class, the div itself. Then coming down now, think the next thing I will do, I will need to target the div and give them. Does it really matter? The first div of the child, the what's it called? I will use main. I will use this class name, which is the main div, and then um use what's it called, child combinator, and then kind of, I don't know, using pseudo class to target the first child, which is that first div, and then give it a particular size. It really, although it will make the code very very kind of what's it called, compacted and very straightforward. Okay, I will use it. So if you have not, I will make use of child div and also pseudo class. So if you have not watched my video on CSS combinator, go and watch it, and then also CSS pseudo class. So what I will now do, I will now call that my main footer, which is the class, which is this same footer. Then I will now, inside it, I will now, not yet opening the block. Before the block, let me create the block. I have to add um my child combinator. Then the combinator will be the, what it will be targeting is div. Then this div now, I will use a pseudo class. It should target the first child, which is the first div, the first child. Okay. Then I will now open a declaration block. Inside the declaration block, I'll give it a font size. Let me say font size, fonts, font size of, let me give it, let me say 160 percentage. Let me see. Okay, you can see this is the first child. What I mean by first child, let me widen this and so you understand what we mean. Why, the reason why I did this. Inside this div, just if you also watch my pseudo CSS pseudo class, you understand this thing better. Okay, this is the first child of this div. This is the first child. Okay, this is the first child. That is why it targeted it and give it those property and value. Okay, just go and watch that video, you understand these things better. So having said that, instead of this 160, it seems to be too big. Let me reduce it to, let me see, how about 140? I think this size is more better. Okay, having done this now, I think that's what I want to target. Then the next thing I will do now, I think, should I think I need to remove some of this, no, some of this styling here. So let me first of all, let me do that first. Then I'll use dot main. I'll use this dot main footer, and then on that list. Then inside another list, I open a declaration block. Then inside I will use this thing called list style type. This is a list style type. So if you want to use it to remove this style, so once you mention the property, which is list style type, you put none, which is you don't want any style. It will remove all this. You see those dots, it remove those dots here. You will not see it, but if you clean it, those dots will come back. You can see those dots here, the listing dot, but I don't need it, so we say none, none. Okay, so it will be removed. Okay, so the next thing I was, let me add some margin to it so it will look a little bit, so it will make a little bit sense. Let me give it a margin of let me say 0 pixel. Then so it will still be there without much movement. Okay, so I will now give it a padding, let me say padding of the same 0 0. Okay, 0 pixel. Okay, so I will align the text in the center. Let me align the text in the center. Let me see how it will look like. Center. It's aligned. Let me open the words. Let me see how it looks like. Okay, the text is now aligned here in the center. I think this is the best place it should be. It's now aligned in the center. Okay. I think that is the best place it should be. Okay. Then the next thing I'll be doing now, I think I'm done with this one. This our main footer, and this main footer white space combinator with unordered list. Okay, so the next thing I will do now, use my main footer and then target the anchor tag itself. I can just do anchor tag dialect, but just this, I just want to use the procedure. I can just use anchor this a tag and just put the properties that I want, but I want to make it to look more standard, so let me use the class and let me use a combinator to do it. So inside the combinator, I will now use type list. Then inside the list, I want to target the child a inside the list. Okay, I want to target a that is inside raised, and then give it a property, then open a decoration block. Okay, let's scroll down. Then what I want to do now, I just want to target this a tag, which is this links here, clickable links here. Okay, actually if you don't want to put these things, main, footer, and list, and this, if you don't want to do this thing, you can just use a tag and just type this thing. But I use this so that I don't know, it will look more organized to me. Okay, so let me do that. Let me give it a color, so you can see, just be watching this, this text color will change. Okay, let me give it a color. Let me give it a color. Let me give it a azule and see what it look like. Yeah, I think azule is very bold. I love that. Then let me put a semi. Oh, let me press that. Put a semi. Oh shit. This thing is highlighted and is pressing. Let me put a semicolon. Okay, now under the text decoration, I want to remove this line that is under the clickable. I want to remove all those lines. Okay, so I will add what I will now add is text decoration, set it equal to none. Text decoration will remove all those underline. I will set it equals to none. Okay, those line will disappear. You can see those lines have disappeared. Okay, then what am I adding? Let me add if I use margin button, how will it look like? Let me try that. Say margin button. Margin button. Let me give it. Let me say 8 pixels. It just moved from the bottom up a bit. Then what if I want to give space so that this thing has more space in between. Let me see how it will look like. Let me give them padding. Let me say padding. I was supposed to make it padding top so that it will separate from the one above it. Let me say padding top. Let me give it 2 pixels and see what it looks like. The space, but it's not that much. Let me make it this pixel. Let me make it 5 pixels. Not that much. About 10 pixel. I think let me leave it at default. Let me just screen it. It's not necessary. Let me just remove it. Because I will, for me to do that, I will need to adjust so many things here. Okay. So having done this, now you can see how the footer. I think we have done with this footer. Okay, so let's open the widescreen and see how it looks like. You can see the footer, how it looks like. Write brand name, then the description of how and the person's name, then all that. But let me just add some. Let me change this name to something. Let me just let me just write any name inside. Let me just use MHE inside. Let me add more space to my this thing. Let me just give it. Let me just say write brand name. Let me replace it with MHE code and see what it looks like. Let me say MHE code. Let me put hyphen MHE code. Okay, you can see how it looks. And let me make this thing more organized. Let me give space here. MHE code. You can see it looks a little bit nice. See MHE code. Okay, assuming this is the brand. Okay, can see MHE code. Then another thing I want to do, this thing, if I have my test here, this thing will just be, it will just seem like it will be interfering with my view browser view. So I want when I will scroll down before I see it. So for you to do that, just come to scroll up and come to this place that we use view height, view hedge, this place. Change this thing to 150. Let's change it to 150. 150. You will not see it again, okay, until you scroll down. Maybe if you scroll down, you see it on the bottom. Likewise, if you open the wider space, you will never see it until, let's see, oh, you can see if you have your test after reading your, maybe the user, after everything, they want to access your footer, they will just scroll down, they will not see it at the bottom. So if you use that 100, it will just pop up. It might interfere some views, it will block some of your pages or something. But if you bring it down by using that view VH, it will bring it down until you scroll down before you see the footer. Okay. Having done this, I think I have nailed some stuff. I have nailed it a bit. Okay. I think I'm done with this footer. Nothing much again. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Okay. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.